the Oscars are coming up.
They are.
And there's lots of
That'd be great.
talk always about what's Oscar worthy, what's going to win Best Picture,
Mm-hmm.
what should be Best Picture, why is it not Best Picture. And so I found an article that I thought was interesting, and
Yeah.
it's about the Oscars. So it's from The Wrap,
Mm-hmm.
and it says more than a third of Oscar qualifying films this year are not eligible for Best Picture. It says there are 323 feature films eligible for the upcoming Academy Awards. The Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences announced on Monday, though a whopping 36% of those 116 feature films are not eligible for consideration in the Best Picture category.
Mm-hmm.
The discrepancy between films that have qualified for the top category and films that are eligible in other categories
Mm-hmm.
comes either because the filmmakers did not attempt to qualify, likely the case for several documentary, animated, or international films, or because of new eligibility rules that require Best Picture candidates to meet additional benchmarks for
Mm-hmm.
diversity and inclusion. This is the second year that representation and inclusion standards, or RAISE, have been enforced, though they did not appear to disqualify any serious contenders in the category. Among titles excluded from Best Picture considered are Bird, Woman of the Hour, Knox Goes Away, Bad Boys Ride or Die, the musical remake, Mean Girls. That's the end of the article, short and sweet.
I only saw one of those films.
I just want to start by saying none of those films were probably going to be nominated anyway. So that was a bad group of films to throw in there, in my humble opinion.
Why, you weren't feeling Mean
Oh,
Girls?
actually, there's more article. But I think you get the point, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
You weren't feeling Mean Girls. You didn't think that was a 5-star production.
I didn't watch it.
Okay. I mean,
They're really smart. They heard me, and they knew somebody like me was coming. There's a full list. I'm not going to read it because it's way too long, even though it's in alphabetical order. But there is a list on the, if y'all want to go look at it, you can. It says, here is the full list of eligible features. Titles in all caps did not qualify for the Best Picture category. It's a super long list. I'm not reading it. Y'all could go look it up if you want. Because it's like all the 300 films that they spoke about. Or whatever, 100 and something films they spoke about.
Well, this is interesting. I mean, I think, can I be honest?
Please do. We try to be honest on this platform. I don't know if you know. Maybe you're new here.
Just got here. Just got here a year ago.
I was going to say, you only been here a year, right?
The films that they want to be recognized will be recognized.
Oh, yeah.
I just feel like all of this is nonsense to me because no matter what, like, y'all gonna recognize the films you want to. There might be a handful that make it through just because, people supported it or had a friend who was in it or something like that, because we know the Academy is of people in Hollywood and adjacent to. So I don't really know what else to say here other than, sure, it is disappointing for films who wanted to be considered. I guess there's probably a difference for them between being considered and not getting it, versus being disqualified from the start.
Right.
So
But you
there's
think
something
Bad Boys was really gonna...
I think that Will Smith and Martin Lawrence are two talented people.
But not Best
Um,
Picture. Like, let's just.
I think Will Smith and Martin Lawrence are two talented people. So what I was saying is that it is what it is. Like, this is unfortunate for who it's unfortunate for, right? But I don't think that we would have gotten a vastly different product.
Right.
Like, okay, maybe Mean Girls would have been. I feel like Mean Girls is. I didn't recognize all of those films. I didn't recognize most of those films that you read.
Right.
And that was just a short list you read.
I was gonna say,
But
yeah. I was actually gonna um look at. I was gonna look at the movies in all caps to see if I recognized
any.
any of the ones that are not eligible, and if I feel like, ooh, y'all should consider XYZ.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, please continue.
Yeah, I mean that's basically it. I feel like Mean Girls, because Mean Girls is so high profile.
Hmm.
Um, I feel like that would have been maybe not the strongest of contenders, but I feel like that would have been nominated. Um,
For Best Picture.
well, not for this is just for best picture, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So then, no, I don't. Well, I don't know because who's nominated for best picture? Do we know? I think
Uh,
that's out already, right?
yeah. Hold on.
Okay, just tell me what you think. You don't have to look that up.
That's fine. Best
No, 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 no,
Picture.
no. We're running out of time, so just tell me what you think about it.
I got it already. I got the list. Variety got a list. Uh. Okay. 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 All right. The predicted nominees. Predicted nominees? Why are they
Gladiator 2,
predicted?
because maybe they didn't actually release the nominees yet. Oh, I don't think they did because I saw something today that said that they had extended voting. So maybe we don't
Isn't
know
the
yet.
Oscars in just a couple weeks?
Not a couple weeks. It's in a little over a month. Because I
Okay.
believe it would be the week after Super Bowl or the week before.
Okay, so I can't tell you what the nominees are because everything is
No,
saying predictions.
I'm sorry. That was my mistake. But so what do you think?
I think that if Barbie, which was extremely inclusionary, did not have the Oscar nomination last year for Best Picture,
That's true.
then it doesn't matter how big or small your film is,
Yeah.
they're going to do what they do. I
Yeah.
remember multiple years where films won that nobody heard of, and some of them just came out a couple weeks before,
Yeah.
and people were like, isn't that movie like 2 weeks old?
Yeah, that always throws me.
I mean, 2 weeks is exaggerative, but my
But
point
sometimes
being,
it is that close though. I think it's
well, based on the eligibility standards, your movie has to come out before December 31st. So that means your movie, when the Oscars come out, is at least 2 months old, right? Or close to 2 months old. But the point being, if your movie's doing well, it's still in
it's
theaters.
still
And
in
that's what throws
theaters.
people aloof. It's like, isn't that in theaters right now? And so, yeah, but there's eligibility uh, rules for a reason. My point is, I agree with you. I don't think it matters what uh, the raise standards are. I
Mm-hmm.
think what matters is what are they getting behind.
Mm-hmm.
Because Barbie made over $1 billion when very few films did last year. And 2024, actually 2023, that would be 2023. Um, Very few films made $1 billion in 2023. I mean, listen, not many films make $1 billion today, period, right? Since COVID, the industry has been struggling. Some
Mm-hmm.
say it's reemerged at this point
Mm-hmm.
with certain blockbuster films like a Oppenheimer, like a Barbie, like a Deadpool and Wolverine. But my point is, if those films will not make it, then what makes you think any other film will? Like, I could tell you, Deadpool and Wolverine will not be winning Best Picture, and it was $1 billion film last year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it broke records, and we spoke about it. But Deadpool and Wolverine is not going to be considered for Best Picture. Of course not.
Yeah.
So I don't think this is a real thing to debate about. I think, sure, follow the inclusionary rules because inclusion and diversity are important. I
Yeah.
don't want to make it seem like we're saying otherwise. I think our
No.
previous topic about Bad Bunny proves that we're all about diversity and
Yeah.
inclusion. But
It's just that we know the game. We
right,
we,
it's
we
like
live the
they're
game
whatever
every
they fucking
day. I
with is
mean,
what they fucking with.
yeah. We know the game. Like it's not we we don't live in that sweet happy world that some people think we live in where none of this exists. Like we live in the world where it does exist.
Right.
So
So yeah.
yeah. So it kind of is what it is. I mean, I don't really have too much to say about that because I don't even think I think that's just top films are going to be the top films and that's going to be it. That's not.
And truly, if we're being honest, y'all should all be inclusionary and diversified.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's why I'm saying I think the inclusion conversation is,
Because wait a minute, didn't Oppenheimer win Best Picture last year?
I believe so. They kind of swept. They won a lot of awards.
I saw Oppenheimer multiple times, and it ain't the most diverse
No,
of casts.
it's not. But that's the point, right? It just kind of is what it is. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, they're not worried about that. If your film is the top film of the year, if your film is a part of Barbenheimer, it don't matter. It does not matter. It's going to happen the way it happens. They're going to find a way, they're going to find a loophole, and they're going to be able to justify it because they
What
make
they
the
gonna do
rules
when
and
Wicked
they
wins
break
two
the
years in
rules.
a row?
Hmm?
What they gonna do when Wicked wins 2 years in a row?
I don't know. You think the second film, I asked you this before, you think the second film is going to be as big as the first?
I actually, after speaking to my daughter who knows the story, she broke it down for me one day.
Mm-hmm.
I think number two is gonna do better than number one.
Really?
My daughter told me, and I'm gonna try to do this quick. My daughter told me that the first film is clearly the prequel, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the second film gets into the nooks and crannies of the Wizard of Oz and actually goes beyond the Wizard of Oz.
Okay.
So actually, it tells you like who's the lion, who's the Tin Man, and why.
Mm. Okay. Maybe I like the second film better.
And you know the sister that got killed in the beginning of Wizard of Oz? That Dorothy takes the red shoes from?
Uh-huh.
That's the sister in the wheelchair in Wicked.
Oh.
It gets crazy, my daughter was telling me. I was like, oh, girl, why nobody told me that?
So now you're
I'm
going to
out
see
here
it.
talking about I ain't going to go see Wicked number 2
And now you want to see it.
at home. I'm not going to theaters.
Same. Same.
In pieces where I could press pause and just...
Yeah. I think my issue with in pieces at home is that sometimes I just get distracted and move on to other things.
So what?
You're right.
Yeah, but she was
Anyway,
breaking it down to me how even... Spoiler alert!
it's a play that exists in the world already. Like, it's not a spoiler. Please tell us.
She says the melting of the Wicked Witch is fake. And that's part of what Wicked is about. She doesn't die when they throw the water on her and I'm melting, I'm melting, I'm melting.
Melting.
In Wicked, they show you that it was a trick. She didn't die.
It was a spell?
It was a trick. I don't know the details. She was like, I'm telling you, Dad, you gotta see number 2.
Nah,
it's gonna be crazy.
She made a good case.
And I was like, you might be
Because
right.
now I'm like, ooh.
Now I'm really here. Like, why did I even watch number 1? Why I didn't tell me this? I'd have just waited for number 2.
It sounds like tea. Okay.
Right. She gave me all the tea, a large cup.
Uh-huh. All right, well, now we know.